Once upon a time in the land of Owari, a young boy named Nobunaga Oda was born in 1534 to the lord of Katsuyama Castle, Nobunaga Oda. As a child, he was given the name Yoshikimaru and enjoyed the privileges befitting the eldest son, such as being granted Nagoya Castle as his residence before his coming-of-age ceremony. Even in the famous historical chronicles known as Records of Great Generals, which collected anecdotes of remarkable figures from the Warring States period to the Edo period, there are accounts that speak of Yoshikimaru's exceptional talents. One such tale describes his time as an apprentice at a temple in Kyosu, where he studied alongside 40 to 50 fellow disciples. Yoshikimaru would challenge his fellow disciples to contests of inshindo, a game similar to rock-paper-scissors. Whenever a talented child emerged victorious, Yoshikimaru would generously share his mother's allowance with them. Observing this, those around him marveled, saying, "To reward a child who performs well, even though they are just children, he is sure to become a promising military commander in the future." As time passed, in 1546, Yoshikimaru turned 13 and celebrated his coming-of-age ceremony, taking on the name Saburo Nobunaga Oda. His guardian during this period was Masahide Hirate, a loyal retainer who served as Nobunaga's mentor. In 1547, Nobunaga Oda, now a young man, led his first battle against the Suruga forces at the beach of Kira. And so began the extraordinary tale of Oda Nobunaga. From his early years as Yoshikimaru to his thrilling exploits as a young warrior. It was the year 1548 when an unexpected alliance was formed between Nobunaga's father, Nobunaga Oda, and the lord of Mino province, Saito Dosen, who had been hostile towards Owari. Under the clever suggestion of Masahide Hirate, it was decided that Nobunaga would become the son-in-law of Dosen by marrying his daughter, Lady Nohime. This marriage brought a temporary peace between Owari and Mino, but it also unleashed a whirlwind of tomfoolery. During this period, the flamboyant Nobunaga would roam the castle town in extravagant attire, accompanied by his close attendants and pages of similar age. Their mischievous antics became the talk of the town. In the Nobunaga's Chronicles, written by his retainer Ota Gyuhachi, he described Nobunaga's appearance and behavior in the following comical manner. Nobunaga adorned himself with a yukatabira robe, half-trousers, and various trinkets such as a tinderbox. His hair was styled into a chasenmage, a topknot resembling a whisk, wrapped with threads of crimson and pale green. He also carried a longsword encased in a bright red scabbard. But that's not all. Nobunaga's behavior often stooped to vulgar levels. He would stroll through the town shamelessly munching on persimmons, chestnuts, and melons. Not only would he devour mochi while standing, but he would also lean on people as he walked or even hang onto someone's shoulder while moving about. With the peaceful reconciliation between Owari and Mino, the city settled into a tranquil atmosphere. However, Nobunaga's eccentric antics caught everyone's attention, earning him the affectionate nickname of the Great Fool among the townsfolk. Despite being called the Great Fool, Oda Nobunaga had a serious side when it came to honing his skills as a samurai. There are anecdotes that showcase his dedication to martial training. He would diligently practice horsemanship both in the morning and evening, and he would immerse himself in water training exercises in the river. His commitment to fundamental training was unwavering. In one tale, during a practice match where the soldiers were using bamboo spears, Nobunaga commented, "A spear that's too short is no good." He then equipped his soldiers with longer spears. This story reveals that Nobunaga not only focused on his own training but also constantly pondered weapons and tactics, always prepared to face any battle that might arise. So, while Nobunaga may have had a mischievous and eccentric side, His dedication to martial training showed that he was no fool when it came to the art of being a samurai. Now, here's a hilarious and outrageous tale from the life of Oda Nobunaga, known for his eccentricities. It revolves around an unforgettable incident that occurred right after the death of his father, Oda Nobuhide. While there are various accounts regarding the exact year of Nobuhide's passing, his funeral took place at the Grand Mansamaji temple that he had built during his lifetime. It was a massive affair, attended by 300 Buddhist monks. Nobunaga, accompanied by his retainers, arrived at the ceremony. But guess what? He was wearing the same outrageous attire that he would strut around the castle town in, completely unsuitable for such a solemn occasion. And during the incense offering, he not only grabbed a handful of powdered incense but also flung it towards the altar, before dashing off without saying a word. Naturally, Nobunaga's absurd behavior became the talk of the town. In contrast, his younger brother, Oda Nobukatsu, showed up at the funeral in a properly folded shoulder robe and hakama, displaying impeccable manners and respect. This stark contrast only amplified Nobunaga's outrageous conduct, and the attendees couldn't help but criticize him, labeling him as the great fool, with colorful expletives. Oh, the audacity of Oda Nobunaga! Even in such a solemn setting, he managed to leave everyone astounded with his wild antics. Here's another amusing tale from the life of Oda Nobunaga. It revolves around the sudden and tragic suicide of his mentor and tutor, Hirade Masahide, who was deeply remorseful for Nobunaga's outrageous behavior during his father's funeral. In the year 1553, shortly after the passing of Oda Nobuhide, Masahide committed seppuku, taking his own life in a shocking turn of events. While the exact reason for his suicide remains unclear due to the lack of definitive records, the prevailing theory suggests that it was a stern admonition against Nobunaga's conduct, which was deemed unbefitting of a feudal lord. Poor Masahide, the devoted educator, was so dismayed by Nobunaga's wild antics at his father's funeral that he felt compelled to make the ultimate sacrifice. His act of self-inflicted demise was seen as a desperate attempt to caution Nobunaga and restore some sense of decorum to the Oda clan. Oh, the irony! The student's wild behavior drove the wise tutor to the brink, and his drastic action became yet another peculiar episode in the ever-entertaining saga of Oda Nobunaga. Gather round and listen to this comical tale of Oda Nobunaga. It's about the incident that awakened the keen observation skills of Saito Dosen, who had recently made peace with the Oda clan. You see, not only Hirade Masahide and others were concerned about Nobunaga's eccentric behavior, but Saito Dosen as well. Intrigued by the rumors surrounding Nobunaga, Dosen sought to meet him in person and uncover the truth. They arranged a clandestine rendezvous in Tomita, where Dosen planned to spy on Nobunaga discreetly. And lo and behold! When Nobunaga arrived with his entourage, Dosen couldn't believe his eyes. The procession was massive, comprising a whopping 800 armed soldiers carrying spears, guns, and bows. It was as if they were prepared for a grand battle rather than a meeting with their foster father. But that wasn't the only surprise. Nobunaga's attire was equally outrageous. Reminiscent of the garb he had worn at his father's funeral, it was hardly the appropriate dress code for meeting one's adoptive father. However, when they arrived at the meeting place, the sacred temple of Shotouji, Nobunaga swiftly transformed his appearance. He secluded himself within folding screens, expertly re-styled his hair, and donned a formal hakama attire. Dosen, witnessing this transformation, had an epiphany. He realized that Nobunaga had deliberately staged his wild antics all along. The Oda daimyo was not the fool everyone thought him to be. According to the chronicles of Nobunaga, even when Dosen made his appearance, Nobunaga remained composed, leaning against a pillar without flinching. This audacious display of confidence made Dosen recognize Nobunaga's potential for greatness. However, Dosen's sons, unaware of the true sequence of events, mocked Nobunaga, calling him a fool. Hearing their disrespectful remarks, Dosen expressed his disappointment, saying, "What a shame. You will all end up tying your horses outside that fool's gate." In other words, they would become Nobunaga's vassals. From that day forward, no one dared to belittle Nobunaga in Dosen's presence. Oh, the twists and turns of fate! Nobunaga's calculated display had fooled many, only to earn him the respect and admiration of a shrewd warrior like Saito Dosen. The legend of Oda Nobunaga continues, filled with humor and surprises at every turn. Gather round and listen, for I shall regale you with a tale of the Battle of Akehazama, where Oda Nobunaga danced his way to victory and defied the odds. Having unified Owari and emerged victorious from fierce sibling rivalries, our hero Oda Nobunaga found himself facing off against Imagawa Yoshimoto of Suruga in the year 1560. The stage was set for the epic clash known as the Battle of Akehazama, where the forces of Imagawa held the advantage in numbers. But fear not, for Oda Nobunaga had a plan. Before marching into battle, he decided to boost the morale of his loyal retainers through a mesmerizing performance of the Atsumori dance. Atsumori, famous for its verse that goes, 50 years in this mortal realm, fleeting as a dream. Should we not, then, seek glory while we have life's breath? With the dance concluded, our intrepid Oda Nobunaga declared, "Blow the conch shell and present me with weapons." And so, he set forth into the battlefield with his spirits high. The sight of their lord performing such an inspiring dance right before their eyes infused the hearts of the young retainers with newfound courage. Despite being outnumbered, the Oda forces rallied under the indomitable spirit of their leader. And lo and behold, they achieved the unimaginable. Oda Nobunaga himself struck down the head of the Imagawa clan, Yoshimoto, sealing their victory. Oh, what a performance it was! Oda Nobunaga, the dancing daimyo, defied the odds and carved his name in the annals of history. The Battle of Akehazama shall forever be remembered as the moment when our hero's audacious moves set the stage for triumph against all odds. Gather round and listen, for I shall weave a tale of Oda Nobunaga and his audacious declaration to conquer all of Japan. It is said that he once declared, "Hold on to my falcon until I achieve my dream of ruling the land." After vanquishing Imagawa Yoshimoto and pacifying the province of Mino, Oda Nobunaga set his sights on ruling the entire country. With the support of Ashikaga Yoshiaki. It was during this time that a remarkable tale, chronicled in the Nobunaga Chronicles, unfolded. One day, when Oda Nobunaga was visited by the lord of Inada Castle in Tanba Province, Lord Akazawa Yoshimasa, the latter offered a proposition. He said, "I will present one of my prized falcons to you." Lord Nobunaga. In response, Oda Nobunaga chuckled and replied, "I appreciate your kind offer, but since I am destined to conquer the whole land, I shall keep the falcon with you until that day arrives. Please take good care of it." With the stage set, Oda Nobunaga embarked on his journey to Kyoto, alongside Ashikaga Yoshiaki, in the year 1568. Then, in 1575, he was bestowed the prestigious title of Jusanmi-gon Dainagon, and Yuko no Daisuke, effectively becoming the de facto ruler, the Tenka Toranin, of Japan. Now, here comes the astonishing part. The lifespan of a falcon is roughly 11 years. And true to his declaration, Oda Nobunaga fulfilled his grand vision of unifying the nation before the falcon's time on this earth came to an end. Oh, the whims of fate and the tales of falcons. Oda Nobunaga, the charismatic warlord, turned his audacious proclamation into reality, seizing control of Japan as he had foretold. Let this be a lesson that even the dreams of a falcon can soar alongside the ambitions of a daring leader. Gather round, for I have a tale that will make you gasp and giggle, a story of trust shattered and a dastardly betrayal. Set your sights on the ambitious Oda Nobunaga as he marches towards conquering the realm. In the year 1570, he set out to subjugate the Asakura clan of Echizen province. From Kyoto, his forces pushed towards the direction of Suruga, planning to strike at the heart of Echizen. But wait, here comes the twist. News reached Oda Nobunaga that his own brother-in-law, Nagamasa Asai of Omi province, had turned traitor and sided with the Asakura clan. Can you believe it? At first, Oda Nobunaga refused to believe the reports of Asai's treachery. But lo and behold, his sister, Oichi, came to the rescue. She sent a letter to Oda Nobunaga, detailing the shocking truth. Finally, our fearless leader had no choice but to acknowledge Asai Nagamasa's dastardly deeds. Alas, Oda Nobunaga was forced to retreat from Echizen and return to Kyoto, tail between his legs. But hold your laughter, for there's more to the tale. After countless battles, a surprising turn of events unfolded. As fate would have it, Asakura Yoshikage of the Asakura clan, seeking respite, pleaded for peace with Ashikaga Yoshiaki. And so, a temporary ceasefire descended upon the warring factions. Oh, the twists and turns of trust and treachery. Oda Nobunaga, the conqueror in the making, faced the bitter sting of betrayal from his very own brother-in-law. Let this tale serve as a reminder that even amidst grand ambitions, the fragile bonds of family can sometimes crumble, leading to unexpected outcomes on the path to greatness. Gather round, my merry friends, for I have a tale that will leave you gasping and chuckling, filled with vengeance and fiery chaos. Let us dive into the year 1571. Just a year after the truce with the mischievous Asai and Asakura forces, where Oda Nobunaga unleashed his fury upon the sacred Mount Hiei and its infamous Enrikuji temple. Now, nestled within the sacred grounds of Mount Hiei, there resided a cunning band of monks known as the warrior monks of Enrikuji. These rascally holy men, despite their supposed dedication to Buddha's teachings, had long been engaging in forbidden acts, such as indulging in meat and even allowing women, forbidden by the ancient scriptures, to wander through their hallowed halls. Oda Nobunaga, not particularly known for his devout religious nature, saw an opportunity amidst the chaos. With the knowledge that the treacherous Asai and Asakura forces sought refuge within the temple's embrace, he seized upon the chance to take down both his enemies and these wayward monks. With fire in his eyes and mischief in his heart, Oda Nobunaga unleashed a fearsome retaliation upon Mount Hiei. Temples crumbled, shrines were reduced to ashes, and not a soul was spared. From the eldest to the youngest, men and women alike, their heads were sent rolling, leaving not a single survivor. The once sacred Mount Hiei now bore witness to a ghastly spectacle. Strewn with the lifeless bodies of thousands, Oda Nobunaga's revenge had been unleashed in a blaze of glory, as he dealt a devastating blow to those who dared to oppose him. Oh, the irony! The misbehaving monks of Enrikuji, who veered off the righteous path, unknowingly became the catalyst for their own demise. Let this tale serve as a reminder that when the whims of fate and vengeance intertwine, even the sanctity of sacred grounds cannot protect those who stray too far from the path. Gather round, my friends, for a tale that will make you gasp and giggle. It's the story of Oda Nobunaga, the conqueror of the Asai and Asakura forces. As he faced a new foe, the mighty Ikko-Ikki uprising. But little did he know, this battle would earn him a fearsome nickname, the Demon Lord of the Sixth Heaven. As Oda Nobunaga clashed with the treacherous Miyoshi clan, who stood against the Ashikaga family, a sudden uprising erupted from Osaka's Honganji temple. It spread like wildfire, and the Ikko-Ikki rebels sprang up all over the land. Our dear Nobunaga found himself entangled in the chaos, desperately trying to quell the rebellion and bring peace to the land. In the year 1574, on the shores of Nagashima, Oda Nobunaga faced the fearsome Nagashima Ikko-Ikki uprising. The rebels holed up in their stronghold, pleading for mercy, but did our valiant lord grant it? Nay. He scoffed at their pleas, saying, "These scoundrels shall suffer the wrath of a siege. It's time to cleanse their sins and misdeeds." Without a shred of mercy, he captured and slaughtered 1,000 men and women who tried to escape under the cover of darkness. Thus, Oda Nobunaga conquered one Ikko-Ikki uprising after another, spending 11 long years to bring Osaka's Honganji temple to its knees. But his ruthless deeds did not go unnoticed. The warrior monks and rebels, witnessing the destruction of Enrikuji and the bloodshed during the Ikko-Ikki rebellions, started calling him the Demon Lord of the Sixth Heaven. You see, in Buddhist teachings, the enemy of enlightenment is known as the Tenma, or heavenly demon, and Oda Nobunaga's merciless acts against the monks and rebels deemed him a true embodiment of that title. Oh, the irony! Our fearsome lord, once dubbed the Demon Lord of the Sixth Heaven, carved his path through the chaos, leaving behind a wake of astonished monks and rebels. So, dear friends, remember this tale and marvel at the audacity and brutality of the Demon Lord, who unwittingly became a legend that transcended the battlefield and echoed through the realms of Buddhism itself. Once upon a time, in the realm of samurais and rival warlords, a curious correspondence unfolded between two mighty figures, Oda Nobunaga and Takeda Shingen. It all started with a letter sent by Takeda Shingen, who sought refuge for the beleaguered Enrikuji temple, which had suffered the wrath of the Demon Lord's flames. Little did he know, his choice of words would ignite a competitive spark in the heart of Oda Nobunaga. In this letter, Takeda Shingen, in a sly move, referred to himself as the heavenly abbot of the Tendai sect. Oh, how the audacity of it all! This proclamation lit a fire within the soul of our valiant lord, who was never one to back down from a challenge. So, with a mischievous grin and ink-drenched quill in hand, Oda Nobunaga crafted his response, a letter that would go down in history. With a twinkle in his eye, Oda Nobunaga sat down to pen his witty retort. And lo and behold, he proclaimed himself as none other than the Sixth Heaven's Demon Lord, Oda Nobunaga. Oh, the irony! The very title that was thrust upon him by the monks and rebels had now become his own badge of honor. Imagine the amusement that must have coursed through his veins as he sealed the letter and sent it off to Takeda Shingen. A battle of egos had unfolded, each warlord staking their claim as the epitome of contradiction. Takeda Shingen, proclaiming himself a guardian of Buddhism, and Oda Nobunaga, cheekily dubbing himself its archenemy. This playful exchange showcased not only Oda Nobunaga's quick wit and audacity but also his indomitable spirit. The irony dripped like sweet nectar from his pen, forever immortalized in the annals of history. So, let us raise our swords and sake cups to the sly and cunning demon lord, whose pen was as sharp as his sword, forever leaving us with tales of his wit and brazen character. Once upon a time in the tumultuous realm of feudal Japan, the indomitable Oda Nobunaga, having achieved the coveted title of Tenka Fubu, or Supreme Overlord, embarked on a roller coaster ride that would shape his fateful end. In the year 1575, during the Battle of Nagashino, Oda Nobunaga boldly introduced the musket, a novel weapon known as the teppo, onto the battlefield. The result? A resounding victory. With a triumphant flourish, he vanquished the formidable Takeda forces, solidifying his reputation as a military genius. Basking in his newfound glory, Oda Nobunaga received prestigious accolades from the imperial court. Donning the titles of Gon Dainagon and Yukono Daisuke, he became the de facto ruler of Japan, a position that would set the stage for his epic downfall. In the year that followed, 1576, Oda Nobunaga embarked on yet another ambitious endeavor, the construction of the magnificent Azuchi Castle, proudly perched by the shores of Lake Biwa. Little did he know that this endeavor would mark the beginning of a series of trials and tribulations. Enter the dreaded, Third Anti-Nobunaga Coalition, a grand alliance formed by powerful daimyo across the land, united in their quest to challenge the might of Oda Nobunaga. From the exiled Ashikaga shogun in Kyoto to the militant warrior monks of Hongan-ji, and even the Uesugi forces of Ichigo and the Mori troops of Chugoku. His former vassals such as Hatakeyama Shigetada of Tamba Province and Yamanaka Yukimori of Tanba Province, all raised their banners in rebellion. Undeterred, Oda Nobunaga dispatched his loyal retainers to quell each uprising, one by one. The relentless struggle against the anti-Nobunaga coalition, that began a decade ago with the First Anti-Nobunaga Coalition, led by the Asai and Asakura clans, finally came to a close, with treachery from within his own ranks hastening its demise. Then, in the fateful month of June in 1582, as Oda Nobunaga ventured from Azuchi Castle to the capital, disaster struck. At the venerable Buddhist temple of Hanaji, a trusted retainer named Akechi Mitsuhide launched a surprise attack. Flames engulfed the temple, and within its fiery depths, Oda Nobunaga met his end, taking his own life at the age of 49.